because I think that, it's just, I just keep doing the same things over and over, but we're not here to motivate people. I don't even like the word motivational speaker because I can't motivate you to get out of bed in the morning. I can't motivate you to go to the gym. I can't motivate you to do anything.
What you're saying is you do it all the time and you get the best spots all the time, no matter what. And that's not life.
Welcome to another session of Inside Outlooks, where we know that personal growth is an inside job. How we think, what we think, and why we think it, or what determines our level of success and happiness. It's time to take a look inside to change the world around us. I just see too often with people that aren't in coaching, and granted, you're probably going to reach an audience that would hire a coach most of the time if they're looking for this kind of stuff, but not necessarily always. But it's like they're just this stuck. They need a pattern interrupt, right?
Yeah.
Because I think that, it's just, I just keep doing the same things over and over, but I'm frustrated as hell about it, but I just keep doing the same things over and over again. And they don't realize that, that we're not doing anything, and just being miserable is a choice as well. And so,
right, and you're in charge. You're in charge of that. You can control that. You can control your thoughts around that. So if you come to the conclusion that you're not doing something, you have a choice and you're not doing something, and you look at it like you're stuck, you haven't yet understood that not making a choice was your choice.
right.
Just in knowing some of that, there's freedom in that.
No different than, the analogy I always use is a football team before a game, right? If they're all in the locker room going, man, those guys are huge, we're going to get crushed. Like their chances of winning just like went down whatever percentage, right? And it's the same in life. If we just keep going, well, I can't. No, we got to put positive thoughts in our head, right? Whether it's a positive podcast, whether it's a video, whether it's a book, whether it's the people in our world. If we just sit around and keep going, well, this sucks, and I don't like this, isn't good, and I don't whatever, but we don't change what we're putting in. It's like if I'm way unhealthy, doesn't even matter if I'm overweight or whatever, let's just say I'm unhealthy. If I don't change what I'm putting into my body, I remain unhealthy, right? And so this is just the mind side of that rather than the body side of that. I used to have a meme that I put out for marketing that was like, when your body's broken, you go to a doctor, right? When your car's broken, you go to a mechanic. When your mind's broken, where do you go? Nowhere. Most people don't go anywhere.
Yeah, they go to bed.
Yeah, exactly. Or the bar or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I think too, and I know you said like we will, by touching on these topics, we're going to naturally find the people who are interested in what we're talking about, like, and who are like-minded. But I also want to be, I guess, more like inclusive than exclusive, because there is some terminology, like you guys are deep in coaching, and like when you say pattern interrupt, I know what that means, but 2 years ago I had no idea what that meant, like what it actually meant, right?
Yeah, so that's a great point.
I want to be thoughtful of, like, Dave, when you said it's about you said mindfulness, and like I feel like motivation, I know, is not necessarily what we're trying to, is not like an end game here, but right. I will tell you, it's a buzzword that people go to YouTube and search motivational video.
Yeah.
Motivational podcast, right?
Yeah.
And it's not, sometimes it's like, okay, well, how do we, like, if we're going to put it into a like a little hook, right? Welcome to Inside Out. I don't think you ever lead the podcast with that. I think you actually start talking about it. What the hell are you afraid of? Everybody's afraid of something. What does that mean for you? How can you take control of it? Blah, 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 blah. My name is Daryn Vuzcelik, and I'm a host of Inside Outlooks podcast. We're here to help you find mindfulness and motivation to take your life to the next level. Nice. Whatever.
And what I love about what you said is that I think that's part of you for this, is going, hey, wait, not everybody maybe is going to understand what you just said. Yeah. So we put that in layman's terms, right? Because, like, I mean, I can take pattern interrupt, and the best story I've ever heard for pattern interrupt is, I probably wouldn't use the name of the coach, so I won't use the name of the coach, let's just say, but a very well-known coach had a client, or sometimes has clients that come in, and their first meeting, their first coaching, they sit down and they start telling them what's going on and what's wrong in their life or whatever. And he literally says, stop it. we haven't started yet. And they like sit up and they change, right? And they go, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And he goes, that's your first lesson. You can choose what you're thinking about and what your attitude is at any moment, right? And it's just this pattern interrupt. Because that's a person that comes in and goes, I got freaking problems, man. Let me tell you about my problems. And holy crap. And wait, stop, right? It's not why you're here. Or we haven't done that yet. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry. Well, you can do that in life. Pattern interrupt, right? You get ruminating on something. Go do freaking jumping jacks for 30 seconds and try and keep ruminating on it, right?
Well, yeah. So to that point, if Daryn sees an entry point to slow us down, either maybe going too high level or too off on a tangent, she can bring us back with that. That's one of the.
I think it helps us expand those points too, is what I mean. Like, yes, it brings in the person that doesn't understand, and at the same time, I think sometimes it puts a different spin, different words, different whatever for the people that do understand, that they go, oh shit, I never thought of it that way, right? Because we've all heard things forever that we understood at a certain level, but one day they hit us over the head like a frying pan, right? And we went, I've heard that 20 times before, but it never stuck.
Never clicked. Yeah. And we could, I mean, I have no problems being lumped into inspirational or motivational or aspirational at all, because that's the entry point for the mass, right? The masses. So to your point, Daryn, it's still, if it was served that way, a 2 years ago version of Daryn may have been interested in that from the motivational standpoint. It's just like accountability coaching, right? People go for accountability coaching because they think and feel it that person is going to tell me what to do to be better.
Right.
That's a great entry point too. That's what we used to do like 18 years ago. Yeah, we're accountability coaches, we're production coach or productivity coaches. And then in the midst of coaching that, all of a sudden we enter into a different conversation about mindfulness and support.
Motivation versus inspiration, right? We're not here to motivate people. I don't even like the word motivational speaker, because I can't motivate you to get out of bed in the morning. I can't motivate you to go to the gym. I can't motivate you to do anything. I can inspire you to do something, but motivation comes from doing the thing you didn't want to do after you did it, right? Motivation comes from when you're walking out of the gym, you feel motivated. You didn't feel motivated to get out of bed at 4 a.m. to get to the gym. Right. And so we're not here to motivate you. That comes from inside, right? There's more inside outlooks. We're here to inspire you to look deeper inside, to find the motivation for yourself. Because that's like a different way to look at my aha with you, Dave, when we were coaching, right? Like when you said to me, I never could have done what you did when I was sitting in South Africa. And I'm like, what do you mean? You're like, I couldn't have flown to the other side of the world to work with, a job I didn't even know exactly what it entailed and where I didn't know a soul. I just couldn't have done that. And I'm like, you're my fucking coach. What do you mean? But you were helping me discover what I wanted to do. You weren't helping me discover what you thought I should do or anybody else thought I should do. Right. And I think that's the inside outlooks thing, is going deeper to help us find motivation, helping people to find their motivation. So
their specific why, right? So you talk about it, their specific why, and just in that conversation, you could wrap up like from a sales aspect. Yeah. You can't increase your production dramatically and sustainably unless you've determined what your why is. You might hit plateaus and stuff, but it's always going to dip down to what your baseline is until you get what your why is. Yeah. I like that.
And that's another one of those patterns I've seen in people, that they're constantly focused on all the things they don't want in the world. Yeah. Right? And it just, and that's where I think it takes work. And that's what I was starting to say earlier, and then I kind of lost my thought. It takes work to do this stuff. And when somebody says, I say, well, you really should journal, like spend some time journaling so that you can kind of get your thoughts. And they go, that just seems like a lot of work, or that seems really, it's like, well, yeah, okay. It's not just going to happen. There's no fairy godmother with a wand and fairy dust that's going to come in and all of a sudden you're happy.
Well, so it seems like a lot of work. So always the question back is like, well, is it worthwhile work? Is it the good work? Right? Because everything's work.
Well, no, right. Not everything's. I mean, think about it. I mean, there's, you know me.
Well, everything takes effort.
Right, but you know me. I love analogies. If you're sitting in your car on a hill, and you put it in neutral and you let your foot off the brake, where do you go?
Yeah, the energy's going to take you backwards.
It's going to take you down the hill, right? And there's no effort. You just let your foot off the brake and coast along until you run into something. It takes effort to go uphill, right? Whether it's a motor or people pushing or whatever it takes, there's effort. And it's the same with positive and negative in our world, right? Negative's easy. It is always easy to find a reason not to do something. It is always easy to find something to complain about. It is not always easy to find the positive and to find something to be happy about and joyful about, right? And that's the work, right? The work is that human nature takes us to the negative that protects us. This goes back to the fear stuff we were talking about.
Yeah, because that, from that standpoint, even that analogy is a really good conversation, right? Because I want to challenge it from the standpoint of it doesn't take any effort. The effort is already there. It's energy, actually. So the energy will take the car backwards or downhill, right? So just the energy that's already there, in this case, it's gravity, right, is just going to take the car downhill. So it's incumbent upon us to then realize, oh, if I don't want to go downhill, I can apply the brakes. That's a thought. That's awareness. That's mindfulness, right? If I want to go up the hill, I may have to shift it and then apply pressure to the pedal to go forward. As that analogy works, the negative and positive, to your point, like negative is easy. It takes less energy to go negative, which really comes right back to the fear stuff, the amygdala, the idea that it's always there.
You're stepping into the flow of energy that's going to take you downhill, right? As opposed to working to climb into the stream that's going to carry you where you want to go, right? I mean, it's energy either way, but one of them you're tapping into what's already there that's flowing downhill. The negative, it's easy. The other one you got to look for, and you might have to paddle.
Yeah, you might have to exert more energy than you thought.
Yeah,
and therein lies being more thoughtful. How about what the fuck is manifesting? I've come across that in the last month.
That woman festing, right?
What I'm doing. It's funny because I'm just like writing rapid fire like a list, and I literally just wrote manifesting. What the fuck?
That's what I wrote.
That was my topic.
That's what I have. Manifest. WTF.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's come up with
so
me.
That's the secret, right? Anybody that's watched The Secret, right? That's what it's all about. It's that, manifesting and believing it's already there, which most of the time it is, right?
And you can change the name of it, right? Manifest, sure. Create, attract.
One of my favorite quotes from when you and I were talking, and I don't even remember this quote, but I saw it today when we were talking about page words. Hang on.
Is it page words or word pages?
It's page words.
I wrote word pages, so we have to argue that.
I like page words because it's page numbers versus page words. Hang on, I got to find this. It's a short list of quotes.
I like word pages because there's no numbers on the pages.
I'm gonna let you two settle that one. I'm not even gonna touch it.
We could just go with the.
Let this quote go.
Keep looking. We can go with the working title. The third working title of the book, which is "This All Could Be Bullshit." That's my favorite title.
I love that title.
My favorite title. And then there's nothing inside. Write your own book.
Write your own damn book.
What does it mean, Matt?
What the heck were we talking about? That I was looking for this quote because now I'm like, it like totally jumped out at me, and now I can't find it.
What are you, Hazel? You're Hazel. You're Hazel.
I am. What the heck? What were we just talking about? Manifesting.
Manifesting. So what? Yeah. So I literally it's probably literal in 3 different coaching clients. Did we talk about it, Daryn? Manifesting?
We talk about manifesting.
But just recently.
Oh, it's the first one on the freaking list. Worry is a misuse of imagination.
My favorite quote.
I love that quote because that's what we're talking about with manifesting, right? Is manifesting is a result of your imagination, right? It's you become your own prophet, whatever you want to call it, right? What I believe, is what I'm going to get, right? What I focus on expands the RAS, right? If I buy, well, in my case, buying the car I just bought, I am not going to see a ton of them on the road because I've never seen one in this color before. But, you buy a new red Bronco, you're going to see all the red Broncos in the world. You won't
Yeah,
see
but
yet either.
your point's valid for your car too. You didn't think of that color on a car for all intents and purposes, and there you go. You're looking for a specific car, and boom, that color's there,
Yeah.
and you enjoy it and you want it. I bet you do see something out there that's the similar color.
Probably.
Yeah.
Oh, well, funny thing is yesterday, we were at a quick happy hour thing for the Joan Kelly group, and I realized that the Joan Kelly group van, I fit into the color scheme of the Joan Kelly group. They had pens that I had never seen before. I wish I had it in here. It's in the car that are almost the same color as my car. And I'm like, that's just freaking weird. So yeah, same thing. But I think that's part of the overall theme of this and everything we've talked about is I love that worry is a misuse of imagination because that's the stuff we're talking about. That's the mindset, right? Is and you could say worry or you can just say negative, any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever you're imagining, all the stories we make up about how something's going to go down or what's going to happen that have no truth to them happen. Why? Because our subconscious is looking for evidence of what we had in our imagination.
Right.
Oh.
And we drive towards it. At that point, you're using your imagination you're always using your imagination to help. It's a tool in helping create things. Now that thing could be somebody sitting in front of you, a different conversation, which turns into an opportunity. It could be, the pen that reminds you of the car. It could anything that you're thinking about imagination wise. It could be something negative, right? You're always thinking about debt, therefore you're always having debt. The idea of worry is a misuse of imagination is just showing that manifesting works, because most of the time when you're worrying about and when you're using imagination to worry about something bad happens.
Yeah.
Some situation that is on the negative end of the spectrum happens. So it worked. Manifesting works. I think that's one of the things I said to one of my clients is like, people do it all the time, but when they think about it in a positive way, they think it's magic and they think that it's a skill that's beyond their capabilities.
I mean, I almost don't believe this example, but it's worked so many times that it's crazy. It's like when I pull into a store somewhere in the parking lot and Heather will go, we're never going to find a parking space. I'm like, yeah, we are. And like literally like 10 seconds, like the perfect spot opens up. And it's just.
It's so here's the conundrum for people. When you say an example like that, and I've experienced that and I've done it, the conundrum for them is that what you're saying is you do it all the time and you get the best spots all the time, no matter what. And that's not life.
No.
That's not life. You could attempt to manifest a spot and be in a really bad mood and be distracted, and then all of a sudden you don't get the spot. That doesn't mean manifesting doesn't work. Right. It's the being in a rush and hitting all the red lights.
Yeah. It's also, that's a whole lesson on perspective, because Matt probably does think he always gets the best spot because even though it wasn't the one up front, it was under the tree and he thought, oh, this is great because it's shady and it's going to be hot today.
Yeah.
Right. So it's the best spot anyways.
Yeah.
And then that's another conversation. I'm writing so many things down about combating the realists in your life, because like so let's say you adopt that mindset and you don't get the front row every time, but you do get the best spot every time because you decided it's the best spot. There's somebody in your world that's like, Jesus Christ, Matt's delusional. Matt thinks every spot is the best spot, right? So is it or not? Or is it a bad thing if you decide that it is and that everything's good? Is it radical optimism, or is it Pollyanna?
It is a bad thing if you move to that Pollyanna stage, which is denying anything could ever happen bad to you and denying those negative results. We have negative results, right? So to your point, if if I didn't get the front row spot and I got the spot that happened to be shade today,
Mm-hmm.
I can determine that that's the best spot for me. It's not in the front, but that's what I'm saying. Like, people have the conundrum where it's narrowed into a specific, it happens all the time, and it must be that one spot right out front the door, right
Mm-hmm.
outside.
Right.
And
then
then they shut down.
Right. Because then the question is, okay, it's not always the best spot. What do you do when it's not? And that's the parking lot's just the example of life. Like, sometimes you will lose. What do you do with that? What do you do? Like, you wake up tomorrow and you decide, are you a loser now? Or does everything suck? I don't know.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And the other thing I just thought of is someone that Dave and I know, like, is affirmations, right? That's the manifesting is also affirmations, right? If I every day get up and say whatever that, money comes easily and frequently, right?
It's
Um,
a tool.
and
It helps you get there. Yeah.
and I'll never forget our mutual friend saying, affirmations are stupid and don't work. And, why? Well, if I said I'm going to lose 10 pounds by Friday and I'm not going to lose 10 pounds by Friday. And I said, well, that's a stupid affirmation. It's like, I'm going to, like, whatever. I mean, what am I going to say? I'm going to pull into this parking lot and someone's going to hand me a double cheeseburger. And, no, that's not going to freaking happen. There is some realism in the world too, right? But it's thinking positive, and like Daryn said, it's okay. You know what? I parked at the back of the parking lot. The only space I could get was way back there. But the great thing is that I'm going to get some exercise. Like, there are always positives to find with those things, and I think that's part of it, right? Is what are you looking for? Are you looking for a reason to be miserable, or are you looking for a reason to be happy?
Well,
Because yes, you're right. It's not the best spot in the sense of being close to the store. But is it the best spot for me today? Yeah, probably is.
So
Yeah.
podcast topic wise, this also reminds me, like, that conversation is very much the book that I have right over there, The Happiness Advantage, right? That's the speaker from Similar Union. So I'm thinking, are you both going to turn around and pull that book out? Look how cute we are. Look, mine are right there beside the pinata.
This one?
I haven't bought that one yet, but I think that another great way to both focus our conversations, drive traffic, create relatability is not necessarily to say, like, it's not like book club. Like, we're not going to be like, today we're talking about the happiness advantage. But you share a topic that shares language from the happiness advantage, or daring greatly. What the fuck does that mean? Or,
right.
And then we touch on one. We say, in Daring Greatly, Brene Brown says, you've got to be real. What does being real mean? And we're going to talk about that today.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it relates back to, we don't have all the answers, and we're getting, what's that say? Life is better with friends or fiends?
Friends.
I think that's really smart, Daryn, because that's part of the relating to the audience that Matt was saying about who is our audience, what are we trying to say? We do want to not make it exclusive, and inclusive would allow for different topics from different people that we're currently reading or hearing or we've worked on before.
Right.
Yeah. And
yeah.
So when you used the aspiration thing example, Matt, another topic would be, for me, detachment, or we spin it as, is attachment a good thing, or something funny around it. But the aspiration, I'm gonna have a mantra or a affirmation on losing 10 pounds by Sunday, and it's Friday. That, just in thinking of that affirmation or the result that it's supposed to help or get, the goal that it's supposed to get, therein lies my attachment to it. I'm attached to losing 10 pounds. What I think you and I are more talking about on some level than, say, someone else who doesn't thinks that affirmations are silly or don't work, is that there's an element to saying an affirmation or saying a mantra and then letting it go.
Yeah.
So that 10 pounds I got to lose from legitimately, let's say 2 weeks to be healthy, right? Or 3 weeks. I have to release my tension or my attachment to it and plan good habits to build within those 3 weeks and be mindful and aware of who the fuck I am if I have a salad in front of me or a piece of pizza.
Sure. Yeah, and I mean, you change the affirmation to, I'm going to eat healthy and be at 170 pounds in 2 weeks, right? Like, instead of I'm going to lose 10 pounds, I'm going to be where I want to be, right?
Yeah.
Instead of not getting sick, I'm going to stay healthy, right? Like, it's that same kind of thing. And yeah, you're exactly right. It's letting it go. Lance said something interesting to me at the Genshai retreat. And he said that, and I don't remember exactly, I could get him to tell me this, but he said, when you pray, he said, don't pray for the same thing over and over again. You pray once and let it go. Because if you keep praying for it, it means you didn't believe that the first one was going to do any good. Like, right? And it's that same kind of thing. It's like you got to state the intention, state the whatever, and be detached, right, from the outcome.
Yeah.
Because if you're attached to the outcome, you're really focused on what you don't want.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, go back to
Yeah.
The productivity aspect of sales, right? You need to know who you are in the moment before you go sell, and imagine that you're always going to get the sale, and imagine that it's right. It's going to be awesome for them and for you, and then detach from that outcome, and whatever happens in the sales relationship, they might not pick you. Right. However, the universe might have better plans because they didn't pick you in that they were a terrible client, right? Or they would have stopped you from the next better client, or they can refer you more work than just being your client. I mean, all these little things that we have to trust that our goal, we're always moving towards our goals.
And part of that too is I think the conversation about like showing up as your best self, or showing up as your higher self, or showing up like, if you want to be in 2 weeks, you want to be the person that weighs 170 pounds. Today, you got to show up like the person who already weighs 170 pounds, because that person
Yeah,
exactly.
Right? And how does that, like, what does that mean in terms of like your highest self and your best self? Maybe it is your sales goals. Maybe like, I want to be the person that takes 100 listings next year. So what's that person do? I got to be that person today. I got to show up as that person today. But sometimes it shows up in a less tangible way. I don't know, a more emotional and mental state, as opposed to just like, what actions does that person do every day?
You are mental, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, thank you.
And I think, I mean, just back on the 10-pound thing, if you're focused on losing 10 pounds, you really are focused on the 10 pounds, which is what you don't want, right? I mean, I know I kind of said that, but it just hit me in a different way for a minute.
Oh, I liked it. I liked the way you said that. That was cool.
Yeah.
So I think another...
At 170 pounds, by the way, in 2 weeks. Because I gained 10 pounds. So
I lost 6 by doing nothing.
I lost 2.5 by intermittent fasting.
Oh, excellent.
I gained 3 pounds of muscle because I'm fit.
Sweet. There you go. Thanks for listening, and remember, your outside world is an inside job. See you next time. Hey, can we get 2 more over here?